everyone, and welcome to Clothesline. My name is Oren, and this is our Raw review entitled 5 vs 5. In case you don't know, here's how it goes. I'm going to talk about 5 good things that happened this week on Raw, and I'm going to talk about 5 bad things that happened this week on Raw. Give a little summary of the show, and then I'm going to give it a score between 1 till 10, and there's even a 0 if the show was a complete catastrophe. So let's start things off with the good. First thing I want to talk about is Mustafa Ali. Because ever since Mustafa Ali joined Retribution and became the leader of that faction, he has basically reinvented himself, and I am enjoying every second of it. We always knew he had it in him, and now he just gets a chance to shine. With the progressing storyline developing on Raw, I am hoping this leads to a main caliber feud against Kofi Kingston, maybe at Mania? Tonight saw Xavier Woods facing another member of Retribution in Slapjack, and it was a pretty decent matchup. It was a pretty decent matchup with a different outcome this time, as Xavier Woods was able to beat Slapjack. After the matchup, Retribution came into the ring and pummeled down Xavier Woods when Mustafa Ali approached him with a message to Kofi. The message was, "I am taking Kofi's spot at the Royal Rumble." Which is beautiful, because as you remember, last year Mustafa Ali got injured and Kofi replaced him in that Elimination Chamber match. And that thing led to the whole Kofi Mania and the world title win, and you know how the story went. And now it's only fitting that Mustafa Ali channels this anger towards Kofi Kingston, and hopefully, yes, I want to see that match. I don't know about you, but I like how the storyline is developing between Lacey Evans, Ric Flair, and Charlotte Flair. Because it's a good storyline, and you don't know who's in the right here. Because on one hand, you do want to feel sorry for Charlotte Flair, seeing her father being manipulated by Lacey. On the other hand, Ric Flair has been abused and humiliated by his daughter numerous times. So if this allows him to get even with Charlotte by aligning himself with Lacey Evans, that makes sense. All I know is I like where this storyline is going, and I want to see how it develops. Here's a question for you. When was the last time you saw John Morrison in a competitive matchup on Raw? Be honest, I don't even remember. But at least we got a competitive match with him tonight as he faced against Sheamus. Oh, trust me, there's a lot of problems with that matchup, but for what it's worth, the match itself was good. I like the match. John Morrison finally looks like a competitive wrestler instead of the usual comedy act with The Miz. Not that there's anything wrong with that, I like Miz and Morrison, but it is nice to see John Morrison in a competitive match. I would have thought that after all those weeks, Matt Riddle will finally be showcased as someone who is a serious contender. Tonight, Matt Riddle went for the gauntlet as he went against the Hurt Business, Shelton Benjamin, MVP, and Cedric Alexander. And yes, of course, the wedge that is stuck between the members of the Hurt Business caused their downfall, but still, what a showcase by Matt Riddle. With a good match against Shelton Benjamin, a quick submission win over MVP, and then a fantastic match against Cedric Alexander, he's able to overcome all 3 men, and now he's entitled for a future championship match against Lashley. And then he got beat up by Lashley. But still, what a way to rebuild Matt Riddle. And the 5th good thing that happened on this show was the final segment of the episode. First, we had the championship match for the Raw Women's Championship between Asuka and Alexa Bliss, and I know, it was kind of weird, and a couple of things did not work for me. I mean, the wooden horse in the ring. What? Anyway, from there, Alexa Bliss goes through a number of metamorphoses and transformations into Alexa Bliss the Goddess, and then back to evil Alexa Bliss. Evil? Possessed? What should I call it? And then, just when you thought it was all said and done and we were going to have a new women's champion on Raw, out of nowhere came out Randy Orton. Although I am a little bit disappointed that he didn't keep the mask on, because I think he still should have sold that whole burn victim thing. I mean, it did have a makeup on, but still it just doesn't feel the same. So it's an RKO out of nowhere, and that's where the show ends. Yeah, it was a cinematic match, it had its problems, it wasn't perfect, but I still liked the Alexa Bliss gimmick, the whole possessed thing gimmick, and the ending came out of nowhere. Yeah, I know, don't sue me. Now, those were the good things on the show. Unfortunately, there were some bad things. Tonight's show was filled with problems, and I think the first problem that comes to mind has to be Shayna Baszler versus Charlotte. First off, this is Shayna Baszler versus Charlotte, and you're just giving it away? I mean, a match with Charlotte and Shayna Baszler should have a build, should have a storyline, should be on pay-per-view. And you're just giving it away as an opening match to Raw? With no storyline whatsoever, with no emphasis on the match. And then you have the match and it ends in like 2 minutes in a very weird way. That wasn't enough. The second thing is the 6-woman tag match. Then we get a 6-woman tag match, and the first part of it was all over the place. And I didn't know what's going on because all 6 women are great competitors in the ring. I am sticking to that statement. But then out of nowhere, it looked like Shayna Baszler was hurt. She didn't make the count. She was counted out, and then what? Then out of nowhere, they called for a restart of the match, and then the team of Nia Jax, Lacey Evans, and Shayna Baszler win the match. The whole thing felt like a complete mess, and I feel sorry for those women, because I'm a great fan of their work, and I know what they're capable of, and they can do a whole lot better than this. The third thing we're going to talk about is Sheamus. First of all, why is Sheamus fighting John Morrison? Where's the connection? Yeah, I know they were feuding a couple of weeks back, but still, the show opens with Drew McIntyre and Goldberg taking out Miz and Morrison. So how come Goldberg or Drew McIntyre don't take on Miz and Morrison? Okay, so I'm taking an educated guess that they want to save Goldberg for the Rumble, and McIntyre is still not clear to wrestle, so why not show me a segment backstage telling me why Sheamus is fighting John Morrison? And if that's not enough, Miz then challenged Sheamus to a match, a handicap match, after he beats Morrison, and Sheamus accepts. Huh? Why would you accept? Why would even what? It doesn't make any sense. Why would he accept the match even though he already defeated John Morrison and he has an injured leg? That of course leads to a handicap match, which in the end Miz defeats Sheamus. This weird booking. You know, it's bad enough that the Hurt Business lost tonight to Matt Riddle, showcasing them as a weak faction. The whole arguments between Cedric Alexander and his teammates doesn't make any sense. I mean, you just joined the faction. They showed you that you can be successful by joining them. Why are you arguing with them all the time? I just don't get it. Why cause friction in a faction that just came together? I just don't get the storyline. And the fifth bad thing that happened tonight on Raw is Edge.
Kill him.
Hold on, hear me out, hear me out. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not saying it's bad that Edge is coming back. I'm happy he's back. But here's the thing. There was no reason to announce his Edge's return to the Royal Rumble this year. You could have kept it a surprise, just like last year. It would have been tremendous. He did it twice before, back in 2010 when he won the whole thing. So why spoil the element of surprise? Why not keep it a surprise and let us enjoy the fact that we watch Edge return in a surprising way? No, you had to tell us in advance. Well, good for you. On a side note, I'm happy he's back. I'm happy he's back at the Rumble. I'm just curious to know, what does that mean to his feud with Randy Orton? Do they continue where they left off, or does Edge go in an entirely different direction? Guess we're gonna have to find out. Tonight's show was pretty much 50-50. There were things I enjoyed about the show, there were things I didn't enjoy about the show, but for the second week in a row, you can see a consistency when it comes to booking. People doing double matches, 2 matches a night, and there were a few characters conspicuous by their absence. Where's Keith Lee, for example? I mean, the guy was consistent for the past couple of weeks and then he just vanishes. And I seriously doubt that creative had nothing for him when we are 6 days away before the Royal Rumble. This episode feel like the go-home show before the Rumble? I really know. So instead of a 50-50, I have to give it an even lower grade. I'll give it a 4 out of 10. I give it a 4 out of 10 because this is the go-home show before the Royal Rumble. This is the show that pitches to me, listen, after watching this show, you gotta watch the pay-per-view this Sunday. And I felt like they did a very mediocre job. If the absence of some performers like Keith Lee is COVID related, I hope they're fine and I hope I'm wrong. But the whole double booking, double matches, I mean, you gotta be more creative than that. And I know you can be when you want to. But overall, the show wasn't that strong. There were a couple of good points I already elaborated before, but in the end, it's a 4 out of 10. And that is our review. Now we would like to hear from you. Let us know in the comments below, do you agree or disagree with our score? Do you think the show deserved a 4 out of 10 or maybe a different score entirely? Let us know down in the comments below. And also, if you want to stay notified when I'm uploading these videos, hit a like, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification button, and I'll see you next time with another Clothesline review. Thank you for watching.